little bit of
Yeah, I'm kind of getting over that, to be honest.
Okay.
But what I like to see is getting into just into a project and where our customer sees value in using us. So we'll get the call when someone's cutting aluminum, let's say, and they go to something like titanium or Inconel that's much harder than what they
Right.
normally cut, and they just say, hey, I don't know what to do. What am I doing here? And so that's our challenge, is to get in there and to give them the type of cutting tools. They're much different from from one material to another.
Right. So when we're talking about tools that your company provides, it's the tool. Some of them are the tools that are actually used touching the metal that's being formed and shaped, right?
Right, that's correct.
And so those are high precision parts, and probably they wear out,
Right.
because they're touching hard metals. They don't last forever, do they?
No, they don't. And that's great about selling, consumables. It's the razor blade model. Hopefully we can get them, using us and, trusting us, and
Right.
and then we can help them in other ways too.
So I want to get into kind of some of the growth questions that I have, but I can't go any further until I come back to the fact that you were selected by the Small Business Association as the 2019 Small Business of the Year for the state of California. The Inc. 5000, the Orange County Business Journal, fastest growing, those are great validations that your business model is scaling. What is it that took you to, one, apply to the SBA for this award, and two, to be selected? What did they say when they called? How did you hear?
I actually got a letter from Linda McMahon, who at the time was the administrator of the SBA. So it's not all that often that you get an envelope or the FedEx envelope from a cabinet level position. So that was
Right.
pretty cool. I opened it, and it was quite the moment. It was really neat.
Did you apply?
Yes, I did. So, what the SBA was looking for, so it doesn't mean that, that we're the best run business. We're not. It doesn't mean that we're the fastest growth business in California. We're not. But, what it does mean is that we utilized SBA resources effectively to help grow the business. And so that's what they were looking for, is somebody that had used, the SBA to grow the business.
Right. And what has that done for your business?
So, it's been incredible. Just, getting out there and meeting a lot of people, getting in front of a lot of neat groups, and, just getting the word out about what we're doing. But, I think what I really enjoy most is talking about just how I was able to use, the SBA. To be honest, when I first started the company, I really didn't know much about what I was going to do, with the company. I just know that I needed to do something, so I did it. And then I woke up and I just said, hey, it's working. What can I do to pour some gas on this? And
Sure.
So I started looking for other resources out there, came across the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program.
Right.
And also there's, for the SBA, there's an Emerging Leaders Program. So I applied for that. There's like a mini MBA on the business. And so it just really helped me understand, what do I need to do to focus on growing the business? What do I need to learn
Right.
in order to become more effective as a leader of the company?
Yeah, there's a lot of times that entrepreneurs' first order of business is to replace your income stream.
Right.
I just want to create a business
Yep.
that gives me a job,
Right.
so I can pay my bills.
Right.
Right. And then once you satiate that need, then you start to realize maybe I've got a company here, and that sounds like kind of the journey that you were on.
Yeah, what happened for me is the company really took off, and I just became so involved in the day-to-day tasks and the order entry and the quoting that it was really hard to get outside of that. And so, honestly, one of my great fears as a leader of the company is that the company is going to outgrow my ability to lead it. So I've always been looking for ways to learn and to grow. I'm just a regular guy that started this. I wouldn't say I'm some gifted entrepreneur. I'm not, but I think I'm working harder maybe than the next guy, and
Sure.
and I've got a great team that's now able to really get us.
Right.
Going.
Companies can't outgrow their leader.
Right.
Right. The leader's got to always be a step ahead. And that's a challenge in today's environment. Okay, well, we're talking with the founder and president of All Industrial Tool Supply. He is Jeff Perry. I told you we saved the best for last. This is the last show on Critical Mass Radio Show and Podcast for the decade, ladies and gentlemen, and Jeff Perry is our guest. So because you've been growing, I wanted to ask you, can you think about, was there a strategic decision that you or the team made that looking back on it, you go, well, that was really, I'm glad we decided that because that was sort of foundational for the ability of the company to scale?
Honestly, I think that's really only happened in the last couple of years. We had grown quite a bit despite ourselves. And, I'm not going to say it's luck. It wasn't, because we worked hard and we were doing the right things, but we didn't have a plan in place. We didn't really know what are we working towards. And so that's something that's relatively new for us and this just started 2 years ago, is having an offsite planning meeting and really coming into the year with goals and objectives. And honestly, we hadn't done that up until recently. The company was in business for 8 years until we really had a strategic plan. And the Goldman Sachs program, the SBA program also helped us to understand the things that we need to work on, but we were still working towards this goal and this vision that and it was just unifying everybody and getting everybody on board too.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I think what's really made the biggest difference for us.
So I'm going to ask Paul to play the gong, because having the gong, for our loyal listeners, when you hear that sound, that if you weren't fully engaged in the conversation for the past maybe minute to 90 seconds, you want to go back on your podcast and pick up what Jeff's answer to my question about strategic decisions that allowed him to grow. And don't forget, this is the SBA's Business of the Year for 2019 in the state of California. He has some credibility with us all here because of his track record. If you were to give an advice or a suggestion to other entrepreneurs that are leading fast-growing companies, is there some sage advice that you'd like to pass on to them, Jeff Perry?
Well, I still feel like I'm learning every day, but I think one thing that's made the biggest difference for me is joining a peer learning network. I'm doing that through the SCORE organization. And, once a month we get together to talk about the issues that we're all dealing with. And what's really interesting about a group like this is, you can sit in a room with people that own very different businesses, restaurants or construction companies, whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, you often have the same challenges. And so that's, I would say look for opportunities to learn within, I guess, a network environment.
Right.
Also, I think it's really important to attend conferences and just to read about the industry. Things are evolving very quickly now. Even in a pretty old and stale environment like manufacturing, things are really starting to evolve. And, you need to be out there listening to people talk about what they see coming. And, I think that's what's made a real difference for me.
That's great. We're big advocates of peer learning here on Critical Mass Radio. So part of the reason why I do this show is to give a virtual peer group for people to learn from each other. So thank you for sharing that. We all have challenges, Jeff Perry, and I'd like to ask you to think about and maybe share a challenging aspect for the company right now and help our audience to understand that everything's not perfect for you right now. I'm sure you have things you're wanting to get done.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yeah, no, let's see. How much time you got?
Well, about 3 minutes.
Okay, well, I'll try and be quick. While we do a lot of things well, we're in the middle of a bit of an evolution of our company. Our company was fueled by e-commerce, and our challenge is to, if we're going to take this next leg of growth, really it's to get back to the basics and to better understand and listen to what our local customers are asking of us, and to innovate with some new services. So again, as a manufacturer that doesn't make anything, we've got to be different than the next company. Otherwise, we're the same. And so, our biggest challenge right now is just we're very inward, thinking and looking for opportunities to evolve the company. It needs to evolve if it's going to grow. The evolution is a little painful, I'll be honest.
Right.
And it's also developing employees too. Our growth has, we've just been so busy that we've been too involved in the day-to-day type of things, just trying to hold on for dear life sometimes. Sure. Because it's been so busy. And so we really haven't done a great job, and this is a reflection of me and how I'm trying to grow. But I haven't done a great job of developing the people around me. And while I work with some talented people that work very hard. I need to be, I need to give them better resources to grow, and so that's one thing that I'm really focused on right now.
Yeah, isn't that? Thank you for the candid answer, because I find all too often what got us here doesn't get us to where we want to go,
Right.
and it's this tension between leveraging what you've done well and what you do well, and being willing to change things to do things better in the future. Because now that you have this organization, there's more at risk of making the wrong decision, right?
Absolutely.
In the early
Stakes are
days,
higher.
you can
Yep.
throw everything around because it doesn't matter. But now you have a track record, and you have how many people?
17.
Okay, so that's a pressure too, right? That's a big responsibility. Final question? Well, it's actually the pre-final question. We call it the guiding principle question here in Critical Mass, and that is, of all the things, Jeff, you've learned in your professional career, do you have a set of guiding principles or philosophies that you're using to lead and grow the culture of your company?
So, to be quite honest, culture is something that really took me a while to understand. And in the early years of the company, it wasn't a focus. And so, at the end of the day, I want this to be a nice place to work. I want the company, and this is probably a different mindset than what a lot of other entrepreneurs or business owners have, but I really want my company to be a vehicle for my employees to achieve their own dreams and goals. And so it's okay if they're only going to be there for just a couple of years. I love to hire college students because they just come in, they work hard, they're working towards a goal, so they're goal oriented.
Right.
And it's okay if they leave and go off and do something else. And while they're there, hopefully they will contribute to what we're doing, but also we can contribute to where they're going to. So I really want this company to be that vehicle that helps people get to where they want to go. And ultimately, if they want to stay, which I think most of them have,
That's good.
We've got a very low turnover. It's a very rewarding and rich place for them to work. We celebrate the little things. We get together as a company and all have lunch on somebody's anniversary every year for every employee. I think that's really important to do, and it's doing the little things right. And so while we're not perfect, I'm not perfect. We're always trying to do those types of things to make it a really nice environment. And just on the business or customer-facing side, we want our customer interactions with us to be the easiest part of their day. So, we really work hard for our customers, and that's our goal, is to just be really easy to deal with. Just say yes whenever we can, even if it's painful sometimes.
Right. Well, that sounds like one of the secret sauces of why the company has been able to sustain the growth that you've enjoyed over the past years. And you're going to come back on the show in the future, a year, 3 years, 5 years, I don't know, at some point. What's going to be different?
I think what'll be different about us is we'll have multiple locations, and we'll really be involved in service. We're looking at some innovative ways we can better connect to our customers. This industry moves pretty slow traditionally, but things are changing, and so I think we're going to have, just depending on when you have me back, but I think we're going to have more people, but I think we'll be delivering a higher level of service.
So you got energy for this.
Yes, I love it.
You love it?
Yes.
You made a good decision?
I did.
Did you imagine those years ago when you decided this is what you were going to try, that you'd be here today with the accolades and the business that you've created?
No, absolutely not. When I started the company, it was more just out of necessity, just needing to do something.
Right.
So it was hard to just imagine kind of what the future held. But, it's been one of the best decisions of my life, and I love it every day.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show and sharing your history and your experience and your insights with my audience. Thank you, Jeff Perry.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
So if somebody would like to learn more about All Industrial Tool Supply, how do they find you online?
They can find us at allindustrial.com. They can find us on LinkedIn and all the other social channels.
Great. Well, thank you.
All right, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'd like to thank Mr. Paul Roberts for being the engineer for today's show, and my three producers, without whom we could not have done the roughly 100 shows that we did here in 2019. They are Joan Park, Crystal Nunley, and our newest producer, just off camera here to my right, Vanessa Holland. If you'd like to connect with me, I'd say let's start on LinkedIn. I'm Richard Franzi, spelled Franzi. Until our next show, which is next year, next decade, next month, whatever, January, I hope all of your business decisions will move your company in a positive direction.